In the lexicon of American cinema, few silhouettes are as instantly recognizable as his. The Serapa, the Cigarillo, the squint. For decades, Clint Eastwood existed in the cultural consciousness as a monolith of stoic masculinity and efficient violence. From the dust of the spaghetti western to the grime of San Francisco law enforcement, his characters were mythic solutions to chaotic worlds. They spoke little, shot first, and never looked back. But to view Eastwood merely as an action star is to miss the subversive architect hiding in plain sight. When he stepped behind the camera, he didn't just direct. He began a decades-long conversation with his own shadow. Critiques of auteur theory often struggle with the actor-director, yet Eastwood provides the perfect test case. His authorial signature is not just visual, but performative. He uses his own history as a prop, a texture, and a target. This essay argues that Eastwood's directorial body of work is a recursive interrogation of his acting persona. He appropriates the visual grammar of his mentors to systematically dismantle the myth of the Western hero and expose the rotting soul beneath the violence. To understand the deconstruction, we must first identify the blueprints. Eastwood's directorial style is genetically linked to two fathers, Sergio Leone and Don Siegel. From Leone, he learned the operatic power of the frame and the silence that precedes the storm. From Siegel, he inherited a lean efficiency, a don't waste the audience's time philosophy. In his directorial debut, Play Misty for Me, and later High Plains Drifter, we see these influences merge. Yet something is different. The violence is already growing darker, more surreal. In High Plains Drifter, Eastwood literally directs himself as a ghost. He takes the man with no name archetype and strips away the charm, leaving only a vengeful spirit. He turns the camera on his own iconography, rendering it monstrous rather than heroic. This visual language relies on what we expect from Clint. He utilizes backlighting and silhouette not to build mystique, as Leone did, but to obscure humanity. The hero becomes a force of nature, indistinguishable from the violence he inflicts. By the time we reach the outlaw Josie Wales, the interrogation deepens. The visual isolation remains, but the narrative begins to question the utility of the killing. The camera lingers longer on the aftermath, the graves, and the silence that follows the gunfire. The pivot point of this auteurist journey arrives in 1992 with Unforgiven. Here, Eastwood brings the weight of his entire career to bear on William Money. The visual grammar shifts from the operatic to the claustrophobic and muddy. Money is the man with no name aged into regret. Eastwood directs the violence not as a ballet, but as a clumsy, horrifying mess. The visual prompt is no longer the quick draw. It is the slow, painful death. He deglamorizes the very skill that made him a star. Consider the lighting in the final shootout of Unforgiven. It is murky, almost illegible. Eastwood obscures the action, refusing to give the audience the satisfaction of a clean kill. The myth is suffocated by the reality of the darkness. This trajectory continues into the modern era with Gran Torino. Walt Kowalski is Dirty Harry in retirement, stripped of his badge and left only with his bitterness. Eastwood uses the frame to box Kowalski in, trapping him in a suburbia that has moved on without him. The complication is complete. The only way for the Eastwood persona to redeem itself is to die. In Gran Torino, he subverts the expectation of a shootout with a sacrifice. The gun is replaced by a lighter. The visual icon of violence becomes a martyr for peace. This is the paradox of Eastwood the auteur. He built a kingdom on the myth of the righteous killer, only to spend the second half of his career tearing that castle down, brick by brick. He is a revisionist historian of his own legacy. By maintaining visual consistency, the shadows, the minimalism, the pacing, he bridges the gap between the myth and the critique. We trust the director because we recognize the actor, allowing him to lead us into uncomfortable moral territory. His film suggests that the Clint Eastwood persona is a tragedy, a man consumed by the violence he was adept at dealing. The director Eastwood looks at the actor Eastwood with a gaze that is critical, mournful, and unflinching. Ultimately, his oeuvre stands as a unique cinematic autobiography. Few filmmakers have had the courage, or the longevity, to turn the camera around and dismantle the very image that the world worships. He leaves us not with the glory of the gunfight, but with the haunting echo of the shot. The man with no name found a name, and that name was an elegy for the American Western,